Have you ever used a cast iron pan and it ended up looking like this? I'm going to show you how to clean it and how to re-season it. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Dad Days, everyone. I'm Josh. I'm a stay-at-home dad creating content for more than dads. Today I'm going to show you how to clean a cast iron pan and how to re-season it properly. Okay, so if you've ever used a cast iron pan and it's gotten pretty dirty, it's very easy to clean. Takes 2 minutes maybe, and it's back in business. So really you only need a few things. You need some sort of scraping utensil. I have this little rubber and hard composite tool from Lodge brand, and it has some different ends on it. There's these grooves, there's flat edges, there's a round edge that fits in the corner on the side of a cast iron pan. I have this little stainless steel metal spatula that I use. I also use it to scrape oil. That's why it's like covered in coconut oil right now. But really you just need some sort of, depending on the size of your pan, you could even use a stainless steel bench scraper. Really just anything hard enough to scrape the metal to get the crust or whatever sticking to the pan, to get it out of there. You just need to get it out of there somehow. If it's a really stubborn pan, you can use water. I'm not really going to get into that, but I can talk about it. So really what you want to do is just get in there and scrape it up. And you can see that a lot of the times, if you have the right tool, it just comes right off. Like it's not that hard to just scrape it right off of the bottom of the pan. Like that. I mean, it literally, as dirty as that looked, it's coming right off. Like you can see all of that. A lot of it's just oil residue, but there are bits and pieces of food residue in there. Really, that's the first step, is to get it as clean as possible with your scraping utensil. Okay, so that's about as good as it gets, just scraping it out. After that, I just use a paper towel and I just wipe it as good as possible and just try and get every other little last bit out of there. Now, as far as cleaning, that's typically all I do. Really, that is all you need to do for your cast iron, is just scrape it out, wipe it clean, and then re-season it. I'll talk about re-seasoning, but before we get into that, if for some reason you're having food that's just even more stubborn than that, you can add about a 1/2 inch of water, at the most 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of water, to your cast iron. Put it on your oven, on your burner, and bring it to a low simmer, so you're boiling water in the bottom. That will soften anything that's in it. Then you can dump the water out, repeat the scraping process, and that should help get anything else out of it that you need to get out. If it's just really caked with grime, if it's been neglected for a long time, I would recommend that. You just definitely want to make sure you're re-seasoning it well after you've put water in it. But really, as long as you're re-seasoning it well, it's totally okay to put water in it. I know there's mixed feelings on washing your cast iron, but it's totally fine if you are re-seasoning it properly afterwards. So the way you should re-season, I use tallow. This is beef fat. I use tallow to re-season my cast iron. It looks like this. It doesn't take a lot. You don't need that much to re-season it. I recommend some kind of animal fat. If you're not going to use animal fat, whether it's tallow, lard, butter, something to that effect, then I would go with either coconut oil or avocado oil. That's all I would use for my cast iron pans. I would not use olive oil. Is it possible? Yes, but it just doesn't have as high of a smoke point, so it's not as good for cooking at high temperatures. Cast iron tends to get to high temperatures quickly, so I just don't recommend using olive oil. Now, as far as re-seasoning goes, I'm only using about that much tallow. It does not take that much for the re-seasoning process. I will add more tallow when I go to cook something in the cast iron, but really all you don't want enough that it's dripping. After it's re-seasoned, you should be able to hold your pan sideways or upside down, and nothing's really going to drip out of it. You're just recoating it. It's almost dry to the touch, but it's glossy. It looks like it's been painted with a gloss paint or a shellac, but it's not enough that it's even dripping out of it. So all you do is you just add a little bit of tallow to the pan. I'm gonna pop it on the burner for 1 or 2 minutes just to melt it, and then I'll be using a paper towel to wipe it out, and that's all that it'll take. I'll show you how. So that's what it looks like after the tallow has been melted in the pan. You can see how I said it's just glossy. There's not enough that it can even drip out. I'll just use a paper towel, wipe it, I'll rub it on the sides of the pan, rub it all over. And that's it. That's all there is to it for re-seasoning, for cleaning and re-seasoning a cast iron pan. That'll be perfect for the next time I go to cook anything in here. I'll just add another pat of tallow or animal fat, and I'm good to go. So hopefully that was helpful. If you have any questions or comments about how you do it, drop them in the comment section. And as always, stay tuned for more Dad Days.